Now, I just want to have my say on The Voice for a second here, because I don't understand how many examples our political class needs to tell them that if you want to cut through and convince voters of something, the worst thing you can do is shove the opinion of elites down their throats. It doesn't matter what the facts of the proposition you're trying to sell are. It doesn't matter how worthy or important it may be. If everyday Joes feel like they're being railroaded into doing something by, quote, the establishment, then they'll use their autonomy in the quiet of the ballot box to reject it. So why, oh why, oh why, would Anthony Albanese enlist Qantas and Alan Joyce to campaign yes for the voice to Parliament? Let me refresh your memory on a few things. Look at Brexit. Remaining in the European Union had bipartisan political support in the UK. Barack Obama wanted the UK to stay in the EU when he was president, as did other international leaders. This is from Oxford University. Quote, almost the entirety of the country's intellectual, economic and political establishment had explicitly opposed Brexit. There had been letters by Nobel laureates detailing the cost to the UK of a leave vote. There was a public statement by over 250 academics to the same effect. The official opposition of most British businesses, as well as an avalanche of expert reports indicating the significant economic cost of leaving the world's single largest market in the European Union. So everybody wanted the UK to remain in the EU. Yet Britain decided to leave 52 to 48. 1.5 million more people voted to leave than remain, and all up, 17.5 million Britons rejected the opinion of the elite. 17.5 million. It was potentially one of the biggest middle fingers in modern history to our institutions, corporations, parliaments, universities, you name it. People just said, you know what? Our lives are no better off thanks to you lot, and this is our opportunity to do the opposite of what you want us to do. It's similar to what we saw with Donald Trump's election in the US. Again, Trump's election to president was a rejection of those elites that were scoffing at him. Oh, Donald Trump couldn't possibly be the president of the United States. Well, guess what? They supported him. And they supported his patriotism and his own rejection of globalization. Make America great again and America first. Anybody? Well, so powerful is this message, and it remains the case against the establishment, that he's been indicted 3 times, likely coming up to 4 times, and is still a great chance to be elected president again. So it's as if Albo, Labor and the Yes campaign haven't noticed any of this stuff. That the tectonic shift on how we convince people of stuff in referendums and nationwide votes, like the voice to Parliament, isn't just underway, it happened years ago. So why then would you enlist Qantas and Alan Joyce and then sell it like it's some sort of unbelievable silver bullet for success? It's tone deaf from the Prime Minister, and it's not funny either. Qantas says, look, we're putting the Yes 23 logos on the side of 3 planes. And you know why? Because they believe in the fair go.
At the end of the day, I believe all Australians are for a fair go. And the national carrier is for the fair go.
The national carrier's for the fair go, is it, Mr. Joyce? Qantas is for the fair go, is it? Alan, do you live in the same reality as we do? You took around $2 billion in JobKeeper and other bailouts to stay afloat during the pandemic. $2 billion of our money. And in the same breath, you outsourced 2,500 jobs like baggage handlers. You sacked them while taking our money that was designed to keep jobs. It was called JobKeeper, right? In 2011, you had a gutful of the trade union movement. Anthony Albanese supposedly loves the trade union movement, and you grounded the entire fleet and locked staff out. People's holidays, travel plans, weddings, funerals thrown into chaos. Since 2008, Qantas has outsourced or made redundant 15,000 workers, 40% of its entire workforce. The consumer watchdog said Qantas was the most complained about company in Australia in the 12 months to June 30 of last year. And Roy Morgan, well, they found in February that Qantas had plunged from 9th most trusted brand in Australia to 40th. And through all of this, the airline of the fair go, The airline that the Prime Minister reckons will convince people to deliver him a yes vote in the referendum is on track to make a $2.5 billion profit, the highest ever. Yet it's got no intention to bring fares down. So with all of that, with all of those facts, this is how our Prime Minister categorises Qantas.
There is no company in Australia that immediately says Australia like this brand of Qantas.
Seriously, I don't know how he said that with a straight face, Albo. He's kidding himself. Because no matter how hard they try to tell us otherwise, if you look at the raw data, Qantas has never been lower in our estimations. The ACCC said complaints about Qantas surged by 68% in the 2021-2022 financial year. The ACCC said it was contacted almost 1,800 times about Qantas. Quote, the most of any company during that period. That's not my opinion. That is just fact. The only thing putting yes on the side of these planes will do is guarantee more no's.
Live on 2GB. Have your say. 131 873.
And by the way, the Australians reported that Virgin will not be campaigning on The Voice. They're quoted in the Australian newspaper today saying, look, they recognise the critical importance of the referendum for Australia's reconciliation journey, but they would not be taking a more public stance on that. I say to Virgin, well done. And forget about it. If you want to vote yes or no, you know that I'm voting yes. I'm voting yes. But I just cannot see the strategy here from the Yes 23 campaign. You know that it doesn't work. If you get into bed with the elites, the public will reject you. So why then? You've got Qantas, ANZ, Wesfarmers, Woolies, Coles, Commonwealth Bank, Rio Tinto, BHP, National Australia Bank. All these guys campaigning for yes. Again, it will just guarantee a no.